being all serious.
No, we really need to be serious because according to StreamYard, we are live right now. And welcome everyone on the next episode of umbraCoffee, episode number 149. And welcome our amazing guests, Poornima and Joe. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Right, yep.
How are you guys?
We are doing good. We had some pretty good exchanges of knowledge and pro tips before we went live. Hope some of them we will also share with, with all of you here on the stream. And of course, we are close to the Halloween. So this is my, I was going to say, this is my interior design for the Halloween period. And there's a really nice pumpkin decorated by my daughter, by the way.
Pumpkin and an orange wall.
Yeah, orange wall. RGB light is doing its job great. But yeah, we are getting there, and we probably are going to kind of partially celebrate somehow. But in Umbraco community, we also had a lot of things happening this week as usual. So maybe we can start from a release, which was the first thing which we also announced, what we also announced last week, and it's 8.9 release. And I had pleasure to test it already and upgrade one of my projects to 8.9. And again, it's really great upgrade and pretty stable, very performant. And I must admit, I didn't measure it, I didn't check it.
This is all the auth improvements, isn't it? So,
yep.
Like, you can plug in external authentication providers, and that will be rolling out on cloud eventually. I don't think just yet, but at least it's possible. You can start plugging stuff in, which is awesome.
Yeah, but I was upgrading from 8.6, and from 8.6 to 8.9, it's a massive change. It's a massive.
You're getting
change.
the block editor, you're getting all the UX improvements and the auth stuff.
Yeah, that's why I disappeared for the end of the week. I had a lot of fun with that, to be honest. What about you? Did you had a chance to play with 8.9, 8.8 already? Pretty much.
No, I've not had a chance to look at it yet, but I'm looking forward to it because of the auth stuff. It opens up the opportunity to do two-factor authentication with just properly and easily. I think there's a really in-depth article by Laura somewhere.
Yes.
Laura Weatherhead that tells you how to do it, but it's just a mess. It's really horrible to do.
Yeah, historically it has been a mess, and I know that Off-Road Code had a great authenticator type package. I think they called it I don't know, Fortress or something for V7, and in V7.7 and V7.8 it was kind of, this is working great, and then because it wasn't like a natively supported, it wasn't actively being used by, say, Umbraco, it kept getting broken, and therefore they went, we can't keep up with this. And I don't think it was ever upgraded. But now, with a kind of solid foundation for that, and Umbraco will be using the same stuff in cloud, I hope that we can do really great 2FA stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
I've done some custom implementation with the two-step authentication, and it was horrible, as you've Joe said. It was following the same approaches and same hacking around the stuff. So I'm really curious how it can get improved right now, and probably that will be where I will start playing with that. But yeah, also great and a lot of contributions from community members again, and yeah, pretty stable, pretty great version which we can all play with and just get our hands on.
I've been using it this week and come up against a few issues with models builder in it. So it's actually being pull requested and fixed, which is great. But in 8.9, you can't save a doc type if you've got models builder in a certain mode. If you've got it in, say, not the pure live mode, if it's in app data mode or DLL mode or any of those that require you to manually generate, the save button doesn't work. And that's because you may know there's like you can click the arrow and go save and generate model.
Yep.
But for some reason, there's no action on the actual save button. So when you click save, it just does nothing. And you have to go in, and the workaround is click on save and generate models, and it will do it for you. But again, someone's pull requested that fixed. Hopefully it will be out, soon. 8.9.1 in a week.
Yeah. But as we are talking about pull requests and maintenance of the core, it probably we need to jump to the topic, which is also around you here, is about community teams, and we have Poornima, who is honorary member of the team around the core contributions, and Joe, who is a new addition to the community teams. So you will be doing a lot of work around testing and also maintaining and managing the pull requests and contributions to Umbraco. So maybe we can discuss for a while how it was and is organized in terms of the teams. And maybe, Joe, you can then tell us what are your maybe expectations or your attitude right now when you are joining the team. So Poornima, can you share us more how it was from your perspective after 2 years, right now, 2 years being in the community team?
Yeah, so I walked in and asked for this opportunity because I wanted a way to help out. I was pretty new to the community and I wanted to help out. And that's why I walked up to Seb and Niels in 2017 and I said, hey, I want to sign up to this team. And then there was a whole lot of meetings, onboarding, and initially we were still testing and reviewing PRs. We could approve them, but we could not merge them. So that then started becoming a roadblocker because the number of pull requests that were incoming, it was a positive change to the way pull requests and contributions work to begin with. So the engagement, I think, increased many fold. And I think last year's Hacktoberfest month was a sign of what happened. It just went crazy. And I think once the PR team came on board, we merged in somewhere close to 1,500 PRs between 2017 and 2018 Code Garden. So the engagement increased manyfold. So when that happened, us just approving PRs became a roadblock because it was not something that was scalable. So then we created a new branch, separated a new branch called V8 Contrib, and we started moving all the pull requests to target that. And to that, we still have the commit and merge rights to it. So we started approving and committing things as well. So I think that improved the situation a lot, but the engagement is still quite high, which is a nice thing, I feel, because like you said, you found a bug in Models Builder that's already been PR'd in and fixed. The other day I think when I was playing around with 8.8, I saw the translation around the multi-node tree picker was broken, and Patrick has already created an issue and fixed it as well. And by the time I got to it, it was merged as well. So it's a good sign, I think. The numbers need to come down, but there's so much that we can do around it because of this positive aspect, the engagement has increased many fold. So I think it's worth celebrating that, to be honest.
You're absolutely right about the engagement. So the prime example of within a day of this Models Builder issue being found, Nathan had triaged the issue, gone, yep, I can replicate it. Soren raised it, I think. Nathan replicated it, put an up for grabs label, and within 9 hours of that, someone had pull requested it, and that's fixed, and that's amazing. But it just shows that it's not necessarily just about reviewing pull requests, it's actually facilitating contribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why probably it was also renamed at some point, right? Because the whole rename of the PR team, which was second team after the documentation team, if I'm correct, it got renamed to the contribution. What's the current official name right now of the team? It's
Core Collaborators.
Core Collaborators, yes. So it was renamed just because of that, because it wasn't just PR maintenance and just reviewing that and testing, because it's more like aligning all the contributions and also triggering the HQ members and also everyone else who might make this work happen and merged or reviewed sooner than later, right?
I think, as you pointed out, Poornima, it's very visible how contribution has been, improved and encouraged over the past 2 years, and that's thanks to the efforts of the team. There's 275 odd pull requests open right now, of course, and there's a big backlog. And I think it would maybe be fair to say that after 2 years, having some fresh ideas and some fresh energy in the team is also valuable. It's so you're staying as a honorary member with the team. So the team's application process was to say, who wants to be part of a team, and that then you applied, gave your reasons, and then the team leads chose who they think would join. And Seb took the somewhat brave decision to just go, we're gonna start from scratch. But it's nice actually that your efforts are still recognized, and you're actually still like an honorary member of the team, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. I think given that we ran for 2 years, and it's always good to have fresh ideas on board. I think I'm with Seb on this one. Definitely, the team needs new members. There will be things the new team can improve and get new fresh ideas on board. And I think it should not be something that limits to the team itself. And I think Seb has been really vocal about it. It's just that we have a Slack channel where we talk about things and maintain and just collaborate. But there are others outside the team as well who mentor and review regularly, on a regular basis, I would say. So I think being a part of the team can just kind of boost that process, like more fresh ideas, maybe streamline it better. And I think Joe, Matthew, Nathan, Laura, and Owain, fresh faces, I think they can do a fantastic job of it.
Absolutely, and this is where we come to you, Joe, I guess, because you are one of the fresh faces for the team. What led you to apply, I guess, firstly?
Oh, Seb messaged me and said, "Why haven't you applied yet?" I think I said, "Oh yeah, that's interesting" at one point, and then it's just been a mad few months, and so he bullied me into it several times, and then eventually I submitted.
True stories about that. Scary news. We promised scary news. Some scary news about. Yeah. You were really active, right? And that's also why probably it was driven to maybe invite you to collaborate more and more.
So I did my first pull request earlier this year, and thought, great, I'm on it. I can do more now. And then it's part of the reason I wanted to join the team was actually because I haven't done as much contributing as I'd like to do. So this is kind of it's my way of having stuff land in my plate that I can do, and it's sort of pre-assigned to me, and it's a way that I can contribute without necessarily finding bugs I can fix and emulate, replicating those and fixing those, which is quite a sort of active involvement. In a weird way, this feels like more of a passive involvement where there's a list of stuff that I can do and help with, rather than actively going out to find that stuff for me to help do. So although it's kind of it sounds like a more involved thing joining a team, I feel like it's more passive in that I can say, right, I've got this free time, I'm going to fill that free time with doing something proactive and productive. Whereas quite often when I've been trying to do pull requests in the past, it's been you spend all day on something and someone else has fixed it, or someone else just beats you to the post, or there's several other things come up.
Yeah, that's a incredibly valid point as well. That this is there's no kind of commitment on the amount of time you're going to give to this. You're not required to do 5 hours a week reviewing pull requests. This is when you can go on and help out, and that applies to everyone. The only difference here is that you're part of the team, helping make decisions, working out what's not working, feeding back, being a bit more collaborative to evolve the process. But yeah, it's I think a great way of getting involved in a kind of less pressured way, isn't it? No pressure to be doing big PRs or anything. You can help facilitate others and maybe pick up some yourself.
Absolutely. And it's even with the honorary members as well, it kind of takes the pressure off a bit. So while we're still finding our feet, there's some people that have been doing it for 2 years and they know what they're doing. But hopefully in time we can not take the pressure off you guys is the wrong word, but sort of, take more and more responsibility and hopefully, as Poornima says, improve the way we work, but also just take some of the work from you guys who've been selflessly working on it for 2 years already,
and also fresh energy and ideas. As I said earlier, I think it's a really interesting perspective. You coming from your first contribution was this year, because some of the people who are on the PR team have been doing contributions for for many years, and it may be that they have just become used to the way things are, whereas your probably horror story of your first contribution is still within living memory, and you can go, yeah, that was painful, or I didn't like this experience, and actually bring that side of things to the table as well.
Absolutely. I've still got so many questions on how and why stuff works that is, I'm hoping, going to be useful to the team. And I very recently have in my memory those blockers that I came across, and also the fact that I did it through a hackathon. So, and that's something else we're going to be going forwards. We're going to be trying to support and help out with those sorts of things.
I already see some ideas coming off it, because Joe's been a first-time contributor this year. He can contribute massively to teaching others who are first-time contributors and having the same kind of difficulties, probably simplify the process in the long run as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially all the hackathons like the Candid Contributions Hackathon and the other hackathons that usually run during October, you can step in and be of really great help to the first timers, I think.
Yeah, but I think that generally the teams, which we'll be talking about, all of the teams right now, are the great way of doing more outside of the normal job, let's say, because we always hear that there is a problem of doing open source contributions as a part of the job, but that's the way how you can motivate yourself and find this time, find the ways where to start, because then it just goes on and goes on. You can do whatever you can and whatever you want to do. It's not a job, but it might be a kind of nice addition and nice bridge to do more open source contributions, and same with other teams, because we are not talking about the core team right now, because even referring to applications, there were 45 applications to all the teams, which is again a huge number of people who wants to be involved, and 14 people reapplied. So all of the people, the members of all three teams reapplied. So it sounds like it's a good efforts, because everyone wants to continue. That's also a great kind of output of that, and all the other teams received great additions, members, and we were talking about the .NET Core Unicore team earlier with James South on board and Simone, who are both well recognized people in terms of .NET Core world. And
the thing I shared actually before this is that, I mean, they probably should have been part of the team from the start, because Simone wrote the original book on .NET Core, like for .NET Core 1.0. He wrote the book about it, and equally, he wrote the book about MVC when and was kind of consulting with Umbraco when they first introduced MVC to the core. So this is a very natural pairing, I think. And of course, James is always very vocal on some of the decisions and the architectural things that are done with the project. And I think again, it'll be a fantastic thing that he can get his hands dirty and really shape things so that they are as best they possibly can be, rather than having to rant to Bjarne on Twitter and steal some of his time. He has a call each week where they can have those discussions.
Yeah, but there were also information shared by James at some point that he wanted to be more involved in the more kind of also structured way, and right now it's just the result of it, because right now it will be. But
equally, he did say he was worried about how much time he could commit, and Bjarne and him had a chat to set those concerns at ease, which just shows that even it doesn't matter if you are a bit unsure about can I give an hour a week or 10 hours. You can, it's open to everyone.
Yeah, and it's same with package team right now. Again, new great additions of the people who were pretty active around packages. David, and also the package team containing every team contains the HQ steward, and it's like again an extension of the HQ effort sometimes with the people who are doing a lot of packages and wants to do more around that. And David again is a kind of great addition with this approach, because I even remember some of his packages from the past, and that's great to see that. Plus, we chatted about core collaborators. We have Laura as a new addition, and Michael and Owain, and Nathan as well, who we mentioned earlier.
Although
so the team...
Nathan's been a kind of unofficial secret member for a few months, isn't that right?
Maybe Poornima can reveal some of the...
Yeah. So he's been on board for a few months, but I think this is the right time to introduce him officially now. Everyone knows about him, so...
Yeah, it's like the secret edition of Ken at one point as well, where Nathan was just slipped in there.
they are probably still sharing this account to do the contrips from the same email address. It's not possible.
It's a fantastic team.
Yes, exactly.
Set of teams, in fact, and I'm excited to see what happens with these. Like I say, fresh faces. The PR team has a bunch of fresh ideas and fresh faces, and I think that's going to be really great to see. I mean, I've done a few PRs this week, and I can personally say that Nathan has been great in responding to those and actually keeping a bit of a heartbeat in the project, making it feel like there's some energy behind it, which is fantastic. And I hope, like I said earlier, that in a year's time, perhaps the packages team and the docs team could also be rebooted with some refreshed ideas and honorary members, so we can keep passion going on in all the projects. I guess the .NET Core one will be over in a year, but it would be good to see the teams kind of refreshed every now and again with new faces, some more diverse faces, all that sort of stuff.
I think it's good to see people from Australia as well as US chipping in as well, because we don't get to see them as often. Maybe at the Code Garden, or maybe if you fly to the US Fest. I don't think either of them is not going to happen for some time now. So I think virtually to be a part of team, it's great.
Yeah, agreed.
And Callum, you've mentioned pull requests, and I cannot ask. You are going to beat Poornima in the board of number of PRs or not?
No,
what is your official plan right now?
I'm way down the board, and I have no intention of racing. It's not a competition. But
because
aren't you number one on the contributors board for the past 12 months?
Yes, that's what we are all referring to. And Callum, you've highlighted it on Twitter earlier this week, but also looking on the current board, still the Poornima is a leader. And it's great to see this numbers and this people being shift all the time, and also we are in the end of October right now, so almost similar period of time like last year. So it's still time to boost it up and change some of the places here. But yeah, congrats Poornima for reaching this number and reaching this position.
And Bjarne has jumped.
Actually, Callum tweeted about it. I never knew. It didn't even cross my mind, because I was in totally some other zone.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Bjarne has jumped to second place. So even since I tweeted, this has changed. Of course, it's a 12-month snapshot. So we're probably including a little bit of Hacktoberfest from last year still in that period. But we'll lose those in the next few weeks. And that's going to be a really interesting shift. I also did a PR this week to fix this leaderboard, because there's some HQ members on there that shouldn't be.
Additions to the HQ.
So you are really aiming to rule this board then?
Yeah, that's the way I'll get to number one. I'm going to remove everyone else.
If email address is not Callum's, return.
I feel lucky to even have my face on there. For years, for some reason it wouldn't show up. Like my user just didn't appear in the feed, and I couldn't work out why. And when I went and compared, I was like, oh, I'm in the top 10 or 15 contributors. Why am I not there? And eventually it showed up. So I'm just happy to be on there.
Cool. But we've mentioned October and Hacktoberfest.
My donut eating capabilities face photo.
Indeed.
But we were talking about Hacktoberfest. Poornima, you probably are wearing a Hacktoberfest shirt, if I saw correctly earlier.
Yes, I am.
And it's still time to make an effort and make changes and improve this number. And also, we've also that some of the people who were literally known for a while in the community, such as Matthew, for example, received their new contribution badges, which are another proof of being involved in Umbraco project, and literally everyone can get this badge on their account if they will help and contribute to Umbraco project in any way, any possible way, and there are many ways of doing that.
Do you all get a special badge for being part of the teams? Is there a badge on our for the teams?
No, not so far, no.
Well, maybe someone could pull request that. I think that would be nice to, identify.
Same as MVP badges and all the other stuff, right? Yeah, good idea. We can contribute with this idea.
With contributions, if you can keep that going, that'd be brilliant, because there is no denying the fact that core code is the best documentation you can ever have. So if you want to be close to Umbraco, even if you can't do a pull request, get a fork out and then see what's going on. Try and run that application, breakpoint it, and start running it. That's the best way to learn Umbraco, I feel.
Yeah, honestly, when I get stuck on something, the first thing I do is go to GitHub, find the file that I know that the issue is in, and work out what the logic's doing, rather than going to docs. And it's definitely helped me with a lot of like confidence when developing, but also just knowledge about how the product hangs together.
Exactly. It's a paradigm.
It's all those edge cases, isn't it, that are never going to be documented.
Yeah.
Sorry, Poornima.
There are some pretty good automated generators of documentation, so maybe it's also a part of where some code changes and information in the code might be automatically generated to the documentation, because it's sometimes easier to read the code. Sometimes it's good to just get class and see what it does, stuff like that. But generally, it's good to be able to see how it's built, test classes and everything, which is growing in the Umbraco code base, is also helping on daily basis to just learn how it can be used as well. And I the times when I search for something in the Umbraco GitHub repository is probably enormous, and it's probably the most searched item on my browser, to be honest. But that's exactly how we use it, and that's the power of of having it open source. But it's also interesting to see it from the other perspective, because it's still released, it still has a new releases, it's still all those contributions needs to be packed somehow and also released to the places from where we can grab it and work on our projects. And this week we also had some new releases. We mentioned 8.9, but there was also a new improvement for the 8.8 version. And interestingly, it's a regression amend which was blocking the Umbraco forms, and still. Probably, I assume that it was just cherry-picked, merged back here to not break anything anymore in these versions. And
well, this makes a lot of sense, because if someone's built a cloud site, for example, and a bug in core has broken forms, which is bundled with cloud, they need to auto patch and upgrade that site. So by releasing the patch, they do the auto upgrade, and therefore everyone's cloud site starts working again. So it totally makes sense why this happened. But the regression was that you couldn't delete form fields, which is a lovely one.
Yeah. But that's also great to see, that it's well managed behind the scenes, because the contributions are coming. The number of pull requests is big, and still the releases are ongoing and they are pretty stable. And again, if something is broken, it's getting fixed pretty quick. That's from the 8.8.1, and the other packages which were released was Umbraco Forms 8.5.4 release, which is really having a lot of improvements here. I was not following that up. Any of you used it already, maybe?
No, but that is a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, the magic strings thing. Actually, I have that issue on my site, so
it's fixed now.
Yeah, it looks like it. Maybe.
I was following that, but didn't spot the fix, so that's good. I'll be upgrading in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good to see that. And Umbraco Courier upgrade as well was performed this week, and it's a version 3.1.9 with support for CMS media table, which was announced in 7.8, and some issue fix also done there. And Callum, you found a pretty new news. Which is about Umbraco Hardcore.
Breaking news. Umbraco Hardcore. That's on a Friday release, Friday deploy. That's brave. You're supposed to know better, anyway. But yeah, there's a it's almost guaranteed to be a feature flag or something. So filtering and ordering for GraphQL endpoints on Hardcore are now up, and there's documentation for it as well. So if you're using Hardcore and the GraphQL endpoints, you can go check the docs out, see how that all works.
And if not, there are a bunch of talks and information about various things around Umbraco next weeks. And Poornima, you are here, and you are also talking on the .NET Conf in the upcoming week, right? When it's exactly? It's on
12th.
It's not upcoming week. It's a little bit.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away. So exactly, probably 2 weeks yesterday, I think. Yeah, it's a Friday, so it's afternoon 2:30 GMT UTC. So
awesome.
Yeah, so the prep is on for that.
It's a big conference. There's big names like Scott Hanselman speaking. Of course, the Umbraco community's very own Carol as well. She'll also be doing a Blazor talk. But yes, some really big names on this lineup. Well done for getting into that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I had my tech check yesterday, just like we had for the Dutch Fest. So it was someone from Microsoft who did the tech check, and he was telling us that they need all the high-end talks as well, but they equally need introductions and things like that as well to happen. So it needs to be a very well-balanced conference as far as attendees are concerned. It's like documentation. When you write a piece of documentation, it caters for everyone. So that's the way they are trying to treat the
That's fantastic. The .NET Conf historically has been quite deep dive focused. It's been pretty technical, and yeah, I'm glad to hear that they're actually going to try and do something about that. It used to only be 2 days, I think, so it's great that they've expanded this year. Third day, it's virtual, it's free, and online, and like you say, nice broad depth of topics there. You've got anything from Scott Hanselman and to like David Fowler doing .NET internals chats, but then also
Matt Storgensen speaking about C#. Yeah, that's
and then Blazor and all the cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's Carol, there is myself, and there's Clifford. I think Clifford is doing a
Good, yeah.
Mine, yeah. I think it's going to be a natural progression that evening with Carol doing her Blazor, me following it up with something else on Blazor, and then I think it's straight going to IoT after that.
Very nice. Yeah. And there's Aaron Powell as well, who's let's say an honorary Umbraco community member, but Microsoft employee now. He's also doing a talk. So yeah, lots of connections there.
Yeah.
I need to have a plan for that. Same as plan for the upcoming meetups, because it's so many of them on the map. I don't know. What about you? How do you attend the meetups, Callum? I'm not asking you right now. I know you do. But Poornima, Joe, are you attending meetups? Did you join any of the events during this pandemic crazy times?
I haven't done any for a little while, actually. I was religiously attending all of them at the start, but recently work has crept in and been a bit higher pressure. So yeah, I've been relaxing in the evenings and turning my brain off recently. But hopefully now work's calmed down a bit, I should be joining as many as I can again in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, and what about you, Poornima?
I did a few this year. The Manchester one. I think each one. Yeah, I've been attending a few of them, but as again, my evenings are quite busy, so I try to keep that time for myself. But it's just one evening, so if there is a chance, I'll just chip in and attend for a few hours.
I've promised to myself to schedule a plan and have a plan of attending them, because yeah, next week we have a virtual Aarhus meetup. Where Bjarne from HQ will be talking about Cypress and testing inside of the Umbraco and straight from Umbraco team, and also Thor from Vertica will talk about experience implementing hardcore projects. So maybe something more about GraphQL as well, and some approaches using the different way of implementing systems. And Rasmus will be talking about it, indeed, and about the GraphQL in hardcore. And yeah, it's pretty interesting meetup as well. There is a second one next week, which is Leeds meetup, right?
And this is me. They've still not updated the description, but this is me. I will be talking about Sidecar. I'll be doing a demo. I will make an effort to get it recorded this time because I've done this once or twice before, and a few people have asked for a recording. So, yeah, run Umbraco anywhere with Sidecar next Thursday.
That's interesting topic. And the week after, or 2 weeks, there are new meetups, and London meetup, which we've mentioned in the past, which is still aligned in time. There's Edinburgh meetup on November 17th.
Which and I are talking at.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a vendor extravaganza, isn't it? I know that Lottie and Lucy play a drinking game, like a virtual drinking game, whenever we mention vendor in an umbraCoffee episode. So
whenever you mention vendor, right? That's
yeah.
Okay, vendor. It's interesting. We use vendor a lot as well in our teams recently. So yeah, pretty good package, and great to see it on the agenda. And there are also Norway meetup, which we also mentioned last time, and I won't be trying to pronounce it this time. I still need to learn it.
Marcin, this is the third week you can do this. Try it.
umbraCamry.
Yeah, you did it.
Yes,
you did it.
Great progress, and it's still a hard name for me. But yeah, Callum, you will be talking about making search friendly there, right? That's also a great topic. And yeah, that's from the meetups perspective. Still, we need to really plan it well. A lot of knowledge being shared across the meetups, and as Poornima said, I think it's great to see both introduction talks to some topics, because still it's not that easy to find recent information about specific things. Things are changing, and it's always every time I found myself, even on the beginning on some stage, it's like, yeah, someone did it, nice, it's introduction, but it saves even 2 hours for someone. It's an hour or two. That's exactly what we are looking for, to save some time and do things. That's meetups, long list, and other stuff which we have on the list. Just to quickly highlight all of it, there was a Sophie's Dog's Diary shared this week. I haven't checked the exact numbers, but I was always amazed about it. So it's a great recap of everything what happened around various areas of the Umbraco documentation, and right now I
love that screenshot there of trimming the documentation down to be simpler, clearer. That's a really interesting visualization, that actually a lot of the stuff you write is just guff. It's just rubbish that's not actually relevant to what you're there to read.
Yeah, but again, I have a feeling that documentation grows exactly the same as Umbraco products. There is a lot of areas right now where there is a need for documentation, hardcore, Uno, cloud, and everything what is kind of decoupled from the core, but still refers to the usage of specific elements, and it all requires some definitions and some explanations. So it's great to see that the docs team is constantly making an effort to keep it up to date as well. And Callum, you've mentioned it today, that because there is a new feature being released for hardcore, and there is already documentation for that, which is something what was not that common in the past, and it's not that common in various software products, I must admit, myself included. So yeah, and we've mentioned Rasmus and GraphQL again, and still there is a lot of love being shared for this call. For maintainers for GraphQL package, but still probably the case is unresolved. So we can probably use this space again to help finding someone who will take care of the GraphQL community package built for Umbraco by Rasmus a while ago. And PRs of the week, Callum, your section, which is,
do we have a banner? Yes, let's do the banner. This should be PRs of the week this week. I've got 2. The first one is from Soren, and Soren's done a awesome responsive preview. So it automatically scales the viewport for in the preview, depending on the device you want, which is just heaven. That's great. So that's
that deserves love.
It's been merged in. So 8-10, whenever that will be, maybe before the end of the year, as we said last week. Let's see that. I can't wait to see that one. And then my other one was from Lee and Adam Warner. So they have been busy updating Kevin Jump's Intellisense package to use. Well, this gives you autocomplete for all the back office directives and services, and it's fantastic when you're building packages to be able to go and find, what parameters exist. And it's a manual process. It's painful. They go through and they work out what parameters there are on each, function, and they put it into a definition file. And they've done every single one, I think.
Yeah, I must admit that I've seen this info during the week, but today in the morning I've started migrating one of the packages from V7 to V8, and I said, oh damn, I need to rebuild the UI for the dialog windows. And I remembered about it, installed it, and yeah, even the actions for buttons, everything is there. It's like we no longer need to scan through Umbraco source codes to find how to do a green button using the ump button directives. It's all there. It's all with Intellisense. And finally, the tweet loaded, so we can see this animation here, how it looks, how it works. And yeah, big kudos here for these efforts. Literally, it helped even me this week. It was just in time updated for the needs.
There's a bit of chatter in the comments there, because it's all hand coded right now. How could they automate that? Because all of the back office docs use all the back office components use something called ngdoc, which is based off JS docs, and it's a syntax that somehow maybe hopefully we could parse and work out a way of doing this dynamically. But I think Kevin said something about if we build it for VS Code, that's more possible because it's JavaScript, whereas this is not. So you'd have to write something that understands the files and maybe builds up a definition. I no idea, but it would be cool to see that at some point.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, that's all from our list. I don't know if we missed anything
I forgot one thing, really important thing. And I had it open, and I don't know why it's not on the list. 24 days in Umbraco.
Yes.
Get submissions in. You have until Sunday. They, of course, as we've been saying with the documentation, they want anything from like beginner all the way up to advanced stuff, code snippets, all the way to lifestyle stories. You can even submit a video with a bit of text around it. Like, it's anything goes, but submit your idea by Sunday, because that's the deadline, and we will make sure there's a link below.
Yep. And I had it open as well. So yeah, submit ideas, contribute, make those two busy, and all the rest of the team busy with reviewing and helping Umbraco to become better every day. And yeah, thank you for sharing your point of views from various perspectives on the community teams right now. And what we can just wish is to just enjoy this role, and for everyone who is new in the teams to and for everyone who is involved in contributing to Umbraco, to share what you are doing, what you will be doing, what are your plans, because that's exactly for what we are looking for as well, to highlight, and we hope to see all of you in upcoming umbraCoffee episodes being highlighted for the great work done for the product and teams. Yeah, so happy Halloween as well for everyone who will be celebrating this week. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me on board.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks, and subscribe as always, and see you next Friday.